Hey guys, welcome to INS's Artistic Pursuits. In today's video I'm going to show you how to make this mobile pouch. This mobile pouch can hold 2 phones in it. It also has a card slot to hold your cards safe. I'm also going to show you how to make this loop so you can hang a keyring and hang your chain keys in it. I will also be showing you how to sew on this adjustable strap. To make the mobile pouch, I'm using a 1mm polyester yarn. They weigh 200 grams together. I'm using a 2.5mm hook, a tapestry needle, a pair of D rings. They're about 2 centimeters wide. A metal strap adjuster. This is totally optional. This is a 1.5 centimeter sew-on magnetic button. You can use snap buttons as well. Some stitch markers and a pair of scissors. Grab your things and let's get started. We'll start making the front of the bag first. We'll make a slip knot and then make 25 working chains. That's 25 chains complete. Now we'll make a single crochet in each of these chains that we've just made. First we'll make 1 additional chain. This is going to be our turning chain and it's not going to be counted as a stitch. So now into the second chain from the hook we start making our single crochets. So that's my first single crochet, and into the next chain I make another single crochet. Oops. And into the next another, and I keep continuing that till I reach the end of this row. I'm just about completing the last single crochet of row 1. So with that I have completed my first row of 25 single crochets. For the second row I make 2 chains. This is just your turning chain. These 2 chains don't count as a stitch. So now you turn your work over, and now into this first stitch right here we are going to make a double crochet. So yarn over, go into the first stitch, this one, pull your loop, now yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the remaining 2 loops. That's our double crochet done. Now we are going to skip the following stitch. That's this one right here. We're going to skip this stitch right here, and into the next stitch we are going to make our front post double crochet. So we yarn over, skip this stitch, and into this stitch we make our front post double crochet. So we put a needle here through the second stitch, beginning of the second stitch, pull it back in front, yarn over, pull our yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the remaining 2 loops. So we've just created a front post double crochet, skipping a stitch in between. So now the stitch that we've just skipped, we are going to make a regular double crochet, but we are going to make it behind the front post double crochet. So I'll show you how to do that. So if you just look behind your work, you'll see that this is a stitch that we've just skipped. This V right here is the one that we've just skipped, and into this V is where we've made the front post double crochet. As you can see, this is the stitch that we made our front post double crochet in. So now into the stitch before that, into this stitch, we are going to make our double crochet now. So we yarn over, go into the stitch from behind the front post double crochet and make our double crochet. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through the remaining 2 loops. So now your front post double crochet sits on top of your double crochet that we've just created, creating this twisted kind of look. Now to make the mesh, we're going to make a chain, and we are going to make a front post double crochet again. We are going to skip the following 2 stitches this time, this one and this one, and into the 3rd stitch we are going to make our front post double crochet. So we put the yarn, put the needle in from the front, get it out from the back, and pull it back again in front, and yarn over, pull your loop. Now we yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and yarn over, pull through 2 loops again. So that's created your front post double crochet in the 3rd stitch from the last one. Now into the 2nd stitch that we've just skipped. So if you turn your work behind, you can see that this is the V that we've created our front post double crochet in. This is the 2nd stitch that we've skipped, and this is the 1st stitch that we've skipped. This V right here, this one is actually from your the front post double crochet from your previous set. So this was the first, this is the V of the first front post double crochet that we just did. These are the 2 stitches that we've just skipped, and this V right here is the one that we've just created our front post double crochet in. And now we are going to make the double crochet into the 2nd stitch that we skipped, that is this one right here, the one right beside your front post double crochet, this one. So this V. So we are going to yarn over, put your needle through this part behind this V right here, that is the 2nd stitch that you just skipped, yarn over, pull your loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops again. So you can see that your front post double crochet literally sits on top of the double crochet that you just created, and this chain creates the mesh for your bag. We'll do that again. So we make a chain and yarn over, we skip the 1st stitch, we skip the 2nd stitch, and to the 3rd stitch, that's this one, it's skip 1, skip 2, and into the 3rd stitch we make a front post double crochet. Pull your loop and pull them out again. So that creates your first front post double crochet. Now we're going to make a double crochet in the 2nd stitch that we've just skipped. So yarn over, turn your work behind, and this is the stitch that you've just created the front post double crochet in, and then the stitch just beside that. So that should be the 2nd stitch that you've skipped. Yarn over, pull your loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through the remaining 2 loops. So this creates that mesh feeling, and also creates this twisted double crochet look instead of your regular mesh bag. So we do that again, we do that once more together. And now we continue making the chain, the front post double crochet in the 3rd stitch from here, and then a double crochet in the stitch prior to that, and continue that till we reach the end, and you'll have 1 stitch remaining, and I'll tell you what we do next. So I've just made the last front post double crochet. I'm going to make my double crochet behind the front post double crochet, and I'm not going to chain this time. I have one stitch remaining right here, and without chaining we're just going to yarn over and make our double crochet in the last stitch. That completes row number 2. Now we start making row number 3. Make 2 chains, turn your work over. These chains don't count as a stitch, they're just turning chains. Yarn over and make a double crochet in the last stitch that you've just made. So that's a double crochet. Now into each of the next following 2 stitches, we are going to make a double crochet each. Once you've made 3 double crochets in total, you will reach the chain space. In this chain space, we are going to make 1 double crochet. You can either choose to go through this V in between this chain, or you can go under this chain and make your double crochet. Both are just fine. I like to go through this chain just under the V and make my double crochet. And now continue making double crochets like so in each stitch from the previous row until we reach the end. With this stitch, I've just completed 25 double crochets in row number 3. Now for row number 4, we are actually just going to repeat row number 2. So we chain twice, turn our work over, yarn over and make a double crochet in the first stitch. Now we yarn over, skip this first of the following double crochet, and into the second double crochet we make our front post double crochet. Now we make a double crochet in the stitch that we've just skipped, yarn over into this stitch right here, we make a double crochet, now we chain once, yarn over, skip 2 stitches, and into the third stitch we'll make our front post double crochet. We yarn over and into the second stitch that we've just skipped, right here we make a double crochet. And we continue making this pattern till we reach the end, and then we make a whole row of double crochets. We'll repeat row number 2 and 3 until we reach row number 22, or you can make it as long as you want, but just make sure to end on a repetition of row number 2. I'll meet you guys back once I've completed row number 22. Okay, so now I have actually completed row number 22, and that's the end of my row 22, and we have a rectangle piece for the front part of our mobile pouch. So I would like to let you know that the place where your front post double crochet is visible in the front is actually the front of your work, and this where you can see these ridges right here is going to be the back of your mobile pouch. So this is the front side. So now I'm going to, you can also see that I haven't cut my yarn off as yet. I'm going to make single crochets all around this rectangle piece. It just makes the project look very neat. So I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. Let me just zoom in. I'm at row 22 like I showed you before. I've just inserted my hook into the stitch. This is how I worked my way through row 22. I'm just going to turn my work flip my work 90 degrees, and make one chain. I'm going to make single crochets into this whole side. I like to make 2 single crochets into each of these double crochets that we've just created. So every row is essentially a double crochet row. So we are going to have 2 single crochets in each of these rows all the way up to this last one, except this last row is actually a row of single crochets. So we will make just 1 single crochet in this last row, but we'll make 2 single crochets in every other row. I'll show you how I like to make it. So first I made a chain, and into this double crochet right here, you can go around this double crochet. I like to just pick this yarn out, this bump, make a single crochet. That's the first single crochet in that row, and then I like to pick this yarn over here, which is like a V, and make a single crochet. So that makes 2 single crochets on that double crochet. And now I go into the next double crochet and do the same thing, but here we have the turning chains. So I'm going to go into this space right here and make a single crochet. And now I'm going to go under this chain space. That's the 2 chains that's our turning chain. I'm going under that and making another single crochet. And I'm going to continue doing that into this bump. Into this V here. This space. And the turning chain space. And I'm going to continue doing that till I reach the end over here. I'll see you guys when I get here. I have reached the end of that side, and I have 42 single crochets, and I still have the row of single crochets where I haven't done my single crochet as yet. So I'm going to make a single crochet in there. Let me just zoom in. So now in this last row, I'm just going to go in to this V of the chain of the stitches, single crochet, just going into this V over here, and I'm going to make a single crochet. So that's my 43rd single crochet of this side. Now I turn my work around to face the lower part of the bag. Now I'll make a chain, and I'll go into this V again and make a single crochet. And now I'll make a single crochet into each of these V's till I reach this end. So including this first single crochet, we should have 25 single crochets when we reach this end over here. I'll meet you once I get there. I'm just working the last single crochet of this side. That's the 25th one of this row of this side. So that's 25 single crochets from after the chain all the way to this part. So now I'm flipping my work again 90 degrees. I'll make a chain, and instead of going into this part like we did in the start of this row, I am actually going to go into this single crochet of the previous row. So this is the row that we had made initially, so I'm going to go into this single crochet stitch of that row. I'm also going to hide this yarn, this tail over here, when we're making this single crochet, and I'm going to make the single crochet. And now that's the first row. That's actually the foundation, first single crochet row, and now I have reached the next row. So that's 1 stitch done, and now this is the chain space. Now into this chain space, that the turning chain, that's the 2 chains for your double crochet row. I'm going to make a single crochet, and into this space right here, I'm going to make a single crochet. So that's 3 single crochets, and we've completed row 1 and row 2 of our actually mobile pouch. So I'm going to make 2 single crochets into every row till I reach the end here, and I should have a total of 43 stitches like we did on the first side. I'll meet you guys when I reach the end of this side. I've just completed 41 single crochets and I have 1 double crochet left. So into this chain space I make 1 single crochet, and into this V I make 1 single crochet. So that's the 43rd stitch. And now I flip my work 90 degrees again, make a chain, and into every stitch from here till all the way till here I make 1 single crochet each. So that should be 25 single crochets. So I go into this V again and make a single crochet, and a single crochet into every stitch thereafter all the way till here. So I'll meet you when I reach the end. So I've completed 25 single crochets on the last side, and this is the first single crochet that we started on that side. So we are supposed to end with a chain in the corner. We end with a chain. I'm going to cut this yarn. Not going to leave too long a tail, just a little. Pull this yarn out of this thing. Keep this chain loose because we really need this. Leave this chain as is, and you can just slip stitch into this if you like. I like to just leave this chain. Now I'm going to work this yarn around this stitch so that it looks like there is no joint. Okay, so I'm just going to flip my work around. Now you're seeing the back part of this thing. Now that's where your chain and this yarn is, and this right here is the first single crochet that we made. And now this is the second single crochet that we made. I'm going to put my hook through the second single crochet that we made. Make sure that this chain is a little loose. Don't tighten it. Now grab this loose yarn and pull it through this second stitch over the first stitch. And now pull this yarn back into this chain that we've just created, out of that chain back at the back, and now we'll just weave this yarn in. And so you can see that your corner looks neat, and it doesn't really look like you have a slip stitch or you've had a joint or something like that. Now that is your chain, and this thing that we just created sits on top of this first stitch, so this becomes your first stitch now, so that it just looks neat. So now that I've zoomed out, this is how your work will look, and that completes our rectangle, and that's the first piece. We are going to follow the same mesh pattern that we have done for the rest of the bag, for the side of the bag, but we are going to reduce the number of stitches considerably. We are just going to work into 7 stitches. So first, make a slip knot and make 7 working chains. That's 7. We make 1 additional chain, that's our turning chain. We're not considering that as a stitch. And into the second chain from the hook, we are going to make a single crochet. That's 1. And now we have 6 chains remaining, and in each of these chains we are going to make 1 single crochet each. So we'll have a total of 7 single crochets when we reach the end. So that completes round 1. For round 2, we make 2 chains. Turn our work over and make a double crochet in the first stitch right here. Oops. That's the double crochet. Now we skip the first following stitch, and into the next stitch we make our front post double crochet. So yarn over, skip the next stitch, and the stitch after that we make our front post double crochet. Now in the stitch that we skipped, behind the front post double crochet, we are going to make our double crochet. So yarn over, go into that stitch that we just skipped, and make our double crochet. Now we make a chain, yarn over, skip 2 stitches, and in the third stitch we make our front post double crochet. Yarn over, and in the second stitch that we just skipped we make our double crochet. And now we don't make a chain, we only have 1 stitch remaining, and in that last stitch right there we're going to yarn over and make a double crochet. So that's round 2 complete. Round 3 is just 7 double crochets. So first we make 2 chains, turn our work over, and we make 1 double crochet into each stitch of our previous row. Now I've completed 7 double crochets. That's round 3 complete. For round 4 we are going to just repeat what we did in round 2. I'll work the round 4 with you guys, and then I'll let you do it on your own. I'm going to first make 2 chains, turn our work over, yarn over, and in the first stitch we are going to make a regular double crochet, yarn over, skip 1 stitch, and in the second stitch we're going to make a front post double crochet, yarn over, and in the stitch that we just skipped we are going to make a double crochet, make a chain, yarn over, skip 2 stitches, in the third stitch make a front post double crochet, yarn over, and in the second stitch that we just skipped we are going to make a regular double crochet. Now we will just have 1 stitch remaining, we will make a regular double crochet in the last stitch. So yarn over and make your double crochet. That's round 4 complete. Now you're going to repeat round 2 and 3 continuously. So now next you'll repeat round 3 and then 2 until you reach row number 20. I'll meet you guys back when you've completed row number 20, and we'll do row 21 and 22 together. As you can see, I have completed 20 rows. That's row number 20, and this is the front side of the work. Now we are going to grab this D-ring and we are going to sew it in when we work in the next row, so that we don't have to sew it in separately later. So let me just zoom in and I'll show you how to do that. So first we'll make 2 chains, flip our work over and make a double crochet in the first stitch. Now grab this D and place it against the front side of your work. So this is actually the back side of your work, this is the front side, and we want the D to be on the front side, so we place it on the front side that is behind our work right now. Now we are going to make a double crochet through these stitches while including this in. Okay, so we yarn over like we would do when we go in for a double crochet. We go into the stitches, we also go under this D like so. Pull the yarn through the D, pull the yarn through the V, and we make our double crochet like we usually would. Yarn over, pull through 2 stitches, yarn over, and pull through the remaining 2 stitches. Make sure that the stitch is not really loose, because you don't want this D to keep moving around too much, but it should not be too tight that you can't move it at all and it's just, you know, sticking to each other. So when we do this together, we yarn over, go on to these 2 loops of the following stitch, under the D, yarn over, pull through this D, pull through the V, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and yarn over, pull through the remaining 2 loops. So that's your double crochet with the D. You can see that you have this yarn, this stitch just goes around the D and secures it in place. We are going to make 3 more double crochets the same way, so with the D behind it. That makes it a total of 5 stitches with around the D. That's 3, 4, and 5. So we have 5 stitches around the D and it fits perfectly. Now we have 1 stitch remaining and we'll make a regular double crochet without the D in the last stitch there. Yarn over and just go through your stitches and make your double crochet. Now we make 2 chains, flip your work over, and you can see that your D is secured. Now we just have 1 more row of our mesh stitch that we've made, that, you know, the twisted mesh stitch. So we just yarn over and we make that, we just repeat that stitch with this thing. First a double crochet, skip this stitch, and since it's a double crochet that you've sewed your D in, it should not be really difficult for you to get through your stitches. It should be fairly easy. If you do find it difficult, just use a thinner needle to grab the yarn through the double crochet. So there you go. This completes row number 22, and this also completes our side. As you can see, the side is now complete. All we have to do is make single crochets all around like we did for every other piece, and I'll meet you guys once you've done that. I've completed the single crochets around, and I've also made another exact identical piece with a D so we can attach it to the side of the bag. Before we start making the back part of the mobile pouch, I wanted to make a loop so that I can put a keyring or a carabiner in it so that the mobile pouch can be hung on a bag or on the pant loop. Also, you can just keep a keyring there and, you know, just hang your keys on the back of the mobile pouch. So I'm just going to make that now. So for that, make a slip knot, and we make 8 working chains. Now we're going to make a single crochet in each of these chains. So we make 1 additional chain that doesn't count as a stitch. We work our single crochet into the second chain from the hook. That's 1, and we make 7 more single crochets. Now we make a chain, turn our work over, and we make 8 more single crochets. Now you can just fasten this off and keep it aside. So we'll use this as a loop when we're making the back part of the mobile pouch. As you can see, we have the front and the sides of the mobile pouch ready. Now we are going to work on making the flap of the mobile pouch and the back side of the mobile pouch all in one go. So the front flap of the mobile pouch is going to have the same pattern as this front part of the mobile pouch, but the back of the mobile pouch is going to be plain and simple and completely covered. So it's just going to be simple double crochets there. For that, I have actually just repeated the same thing. So since it's the same pattern, we start off by making 25 chains, and we repeat row 1 to row 11 of this front part of the mobile pouch again. So this will be the flap of the mobile pouch. This is where it will fold. This will be the top of the mobile pouch, and now I'm going to show you how we're going to make the back side of the mobile pouch. So I have actually got 11 rows done already, exactly the same as this one. So just go back to where this starts and watch the video if you want reference as to how you've got to come up to row 11. And once you're done completing row 11, I'll see you there and I'll let you know what we got to do next. After making 11 rows identical to the front part of your mobile pouch, your work will look something like this, and you will be facing the wrong side of your work. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a stitch marker and mark this row like so. I just grabbed the double crochet and marked it so that I know that this double crochet row belongs to the flap of the mobile pouch and not the back side of the mobile pouch. So now we are just going to make 22 rows of simple double crochets exactly like this one. That would total up to that'll come up to a total of 33 rows right from here. In row number 14 we are going to add this loop. If you have made this loop, if you want to attach this loop so that you can hang a key ring or a carabiner to your mobile pouch, you can stop at row number 14 before you start row number 14 and see. I'll show you how I'm going to attach it to the back of the mobile pouch. Otherwise, just simply go ahead and complete 22 rows of double crochets. Okay, so let's just get started. After row number 11, row 12 and 13 is just going to be simple double crochets. I'll meet you once I get to the end of row 13. I've completed row 13. Now I'm going to start working on row 14, but before I do, I'm going to grab my stitch marker and mark the 12th and the 14th stitch. That's here. 1, 2, 3. That's my 12th stitch, and that is the 14th stitch. I'm going to mark that because that's right in the middle of our work, and we are going to work into these 3 stitches where we'll fix this loop. So now I'm just going to turn my work and I'm going to make double crochets till I reach this stitch marker, and I'll meet you guys when I get there. So now I've completed 11 double crochets and reached the 12th stitch. So I'm just going to remove this stitch marker over here and keep this one for now. I'm going to grab my loop, fold it into half and place it on top of this working piece. This is actually the front part of our work, so this loop is going to be sitting in front. Now you want to grab your needle. We are going to make a double crochet into this stitch, but we are also going to include this loop in that. So you yarn over. Now you grab this corner stitch, that's a single crochet that you've made of this loop, and this corner part of this loop, and grab the 12th stitch that we had the stitch marker on right now. So now your needle's in two parts of the loop and one part of the back side. Yarn over, pull your loop through all three parts and make your double crochet. Now yarn over and go into the center part of the loop, of both parts of your loop, and go into the center stitch, that is the 13th stitch, and you make your double crochet again. Just make sure that your double crochet is quite tight. Now you yarn over, remove the stitch marker, that's the last stitch. So you yarn over, put your needle into the cornermost part of your loop. Now that's a little tight. Now you go into the 14th stitch where we had marked it earlier and make your double crochet. Now your loop is secure. Now you continue making double crochets throughout like usual. So you'll have 11 more double crochets for this row, and continue making double crochets till you reach row 33, and I'll see you once we're done with this piece. As you can see, I've just completed row number 33 of the back and the front part, the flap part of the mobile pouch. This is the right side. I have the loop here. Now I'm just going to make single crochets all around like we did for every other piece, and I'll show you how the final piece looks. As you can see, I've completed the whole back and the flap part of it, and I've completed the single crochets around. I have left this marker as is so that I have an idea that this is where it folds, and your pouch will look something like this. Now it's starting to look more like a mobile pouch, so we just have a little more components to get done with, and we can then assemble the whole thing together. To make our card slot, we start with 17 chains. These are your 17 working chains. Now we make 2 additional turning chains. And now in the 3rd chain from the hook, we make a double crochet. We have 16 chains remaining. We make 1 double crochet in each of the 16 remaining chains. I'll meet you when I get to the end of this row. I have made 17 double crochets. Now we go on to the next row. We make 2 chains, turn our work over, yarn over, and make 17 double crochets again. So that's 1 double crochet in each stitch in this row. We continue making 17 double crochets for 8 more rows. That is a total of 9 rows. I'll meet you once we get to the end of the 9th row. So now I've completed 9 rows of 17 double crochets each. For the 10th row, we chain twice, turn our work over, Let me just zoom in. We turned our work over. Now we make 5 double crochets only, so 1 double crochet and then next 5 stitches. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So after we complete 5 stitches, we make 2 chains. Now we go back into the same stitch that we just made our double crochet in, and we make a slip stitch. So we just put our hook in, pull the yarn through that hole and pull it through the loop, and we're done. Now we'll make 7 slip stitches across the next 7 stitches. We go through both the loops of that V and we make a slip stitch. So that's 1. We make 6 more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Now we make 1 more slip stitch into the next stitch. We make 2 chains, and into the same stitch that we made the last slip stitch into, we're going to make a double crochet. So now this will leave you with 4 remaining stitches, and we make a single crochet into the remaining 4 stitches, so we'll have a total of 5 double crochets, exactly like how we started the row. So as you can see, we've created this indent so that we can pick out the cards easily. Now what we're going to do is we're going to flip our work 90 degrees, and like every other piece for this project, we are going to make single crochets all along the 4 sides, but we'll make it a little differently on this side. So I'll meet you guys when we reach this part. As you can see, I've completed the 3 sides of single crochets, and I've ended this side with a chain like I said we would. Let me just zoom in and I'll show you how we work the 4th side. So now we just ended it with the chain. Now we have this double crochet of row 10. We are only going to work into the back loops of this row. So after this chain, what I'm going to do is I'm going to poke my needle into this back loop only, pick it up, yarn over and make a slip stitch. I'm going to do 4 more such stitches. Just pick the back loop, yarn over and make a slip stitch. That's 3, 4 and 5. Okay, remember the 2 chains that we had made and slip stitched it to the same stitch as your double crochet. In row 10 we are going to slip stitch into each of those 2 chains as well. So, and we're just going to do it in the back loop like we did the first 5 stitches. So I just pick the back loop of that chain, make a slip stitch, and this one as well. So I made 2 more slip stitches. Now we skip this slip stitch that we did, that we slip stitched into the same stitch as the double crochet, and we'll go into this slip stitch right here, which is the 7 slip stitches that we did in between. So now into this stitch right here, I'm going to pick the back loop only, and I'm going to make a slip stitch. Again, I'm going to make 6 more such slip stitches. Oops. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Now we're going to skip this slip stitch which we did, and we are going to work into these 2 chains. We pick the back loop of the chain, of the first chain, and we slip stitch into that. Now we pick the second chain and we pick the back loop of the second chain and we slip stitch into that. Now what we'll have is 5 remaining double crochets of row 10. That's the last 5 double crochets, and we slip stitch into the back loops of these 5 double crochets like we did the first 5. Now you chain. You can slip stitch into this one, or like the previous one, you can cut your yarn and weave your yarn through that so that it looks neat. So I'll see you once I've just finished the ends off. So that's how the completed credit card pouch looks. We'll keep this aside and use it when we're assembling the bag. Now for the last piece of our puzzle, we are going to make the base of our mobile pouch. For that, we start off with 25 chains again. We make 1 additional chain. That's going to be our turning chain, and from the second chain from the hook we are going to start making single crochets. So we are going to make 25 single crochets in this row. So that's 1, and we make 24 more. So I've completed 25 single crochets in row 1. I'm going to continue making 25 single crochets for 6 more rows, that is until row number 7. After which I'm going to make a border of single crochets and then fasten my yarn, cut it off, weave in my ends, and I'll see you guys back when I've completed that whole piece. So I've completed the base and woven in my ends, and let's get to assemble the mobile pouch. For the next part, we have the back and the flap part of the mobile pouch and the card slot, so that we can sew this on to the back side over here. I also have some stitch markers and a tapestry needle with the yarn in, so we can sew that on. So we had earlier marked this row of double crochets as the row where the flap will actually come. So this whole row is it goes on for the flap part of the mobile pouch. So anything below that is the back side of the mobile pouch, and I would like this card to sit somewhere here, a little below the edge of the mobile opening of the mobile pouch. So now if I count that, that's 1 2 3, that's the end of the 3rd row. So on the 4th row and down. So on the if I'm going to place it here, you can eyeball it to the center, but I do know that this card slot is 17 stitches wide, and the 2 single crochets on the side, the borders count as 2 additional stitches, so that's about 19, and our base is 25 stitches, excluding these single crochet boundaries. So I'm going to skip 3 stitches on the side, and on the 4th double crochet row below this marker, that's 1 2 3 and 4, on this row I'm going to mark 3 stitches down. This is my first stitch, second and third. So I'm going to start stitching on this 4th stitch right here. So that's the 4th stitch from the right, and I'm going to count 3 stitches from this side as well. So that's 1 2 and 3. I'm going to skip those 3, and on the 4th stitch I'm going to place the marker. So I'm going to stitch this in between that. Now what you can do is open this up. Let me just zoom in. So we just place this markers 4 rows down and 3 stitches in. So after the 3rd stitch, on the 4th stitch, I've placed my marker. So I've done the same on this side as well. So now, including these 2 marker stitches, you should have 19 stitches. That's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 and 19. So you have 19 stitches. That is exact number of stitches that you'll have on this piece. So now find the chain part of your work. That'll be this stitch right here. That's usually the corner stitch and doesn't have any base. So now you pin this to this chain right here. So you know that that's the corner of your pouch, and that stitch is supposed to sit on that double crochet stitch. And do the same for this one. Open this pin up and pin the chain part, that is this stitch right here. If you're finding it hard to find it, it'll be after these 5 single crochets. It'll be the 6th stitch right here. That's the corner stitch. Just pin them together. That's how wide it's going to be, and you can just simply eyeball it down, and you can see that when you place it flat, let me just zoom out. When you place it flat on this thing, this reaches all the way up to this row. This card pouch reaches all the way up to this row. Now you grab your stitch marker, find the 4th stitch from this corner, that is 1 2 3 4. Mark the double crochet and grab the chain stitch like you did on top, the corner chain stitch, and pin it together. Same thing this side, 1 2 3, and the 4th one. So that is your 4th stitch. Also grab the corner stitch, which is this one right here, and put it on this. Okay, so now we're just going to sew these 3 sides onto the back so it sits flat and you can use it. Okay, I have my tapestry needle with the yarn in. I am going to actually remove the stitch marker from the side of this card pouch. Now if you want, you can always mark it with another stitch marker. I am going to work into these almost horizontal lines of the double crochets when it's flat, and we will work into the 4th double crochet of every row. Just eyeball it to the double crochet below the other one. So we're going to keep working in this straight line, this one and then this one, all the way through, and we are going to work only into the inner loops of the stitches of this row. Okay, so we only pick one stitch here, and we will just pick any yarn that is convenient for us on this double crochet. But mind you, just don't go through the double crochet, otherwise your stitch will be visible on the other side of your bag and it won't look pretty. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick this almost horizontal line of this double crochet that we've just marked. I'm going to put my needles through it. Just let this yarn be there for now. I'm going to turn my work over so it's easier for me to work. Now I'm going to grab the inner side of this stitch the chain stitch and pull my yarn through. Now I'm going to just remove this stitch marker and I'm going to tie a knot to secure this yarn in this space. We can weave this yarn in later. Okay, now this yarn is in place. I've just zoomed in further so it's easier to see. I've made this knot here now. So I'm going to grab this needle and go into the same space on the double crochet where we actually made the knot. And I will also grab another yarn of the double crochet in the next row. So this double crochet right here, if you want to be sure that you're picking the right double crochet, just count 3 double crochets from the side. That's 1, 2 and 3. So we'll work into the 4th double crochet, this one and this one. So this is the yarn that we just wear from the previous double crochet where we made this knot. Grab that and we grab the yarn, a yarn or any loop actually, from the next double crochet, that is a double crochet under that, and we pull our yarn through. Now we go back into this chain space that we had made the knot in. So we only grab the inner loop of that chain and we come out of the inner loop of the next stitch, the next single crochet. Now going back into the place where we just made the a stitch on the double crochet. So every time you go back into the stitch of the opposite side where you had made the stitch first, and then move forward, go down that stitch and grab another yarn, of that double crochet. So you go back into the same loop and then grab another loop and come out of the new loop and pull this through. You do the same thing for this stitch as well. You go back into the same stitch, the last stitch that we made the stitch in, so that's this one, and then come out of the next stitch. So we do that again. We go into the same stitch where we stitch in the double crochet, and then grab that loop and then go ahead and grab another loop on the double crochet under that and pull your loop. Pull your yarn. Just make sure that you're pulling the loop that you pull aligns with one of these stitches, because you're going to keep going zigzag all the way through. So now we go back into this inner loop of this single crochet and come out of this inner loop of the next single crochet. Then we go back into the loop, into that loop in the double crochet, and grab another new loop. Just make sure it's in line with your stitch and come out. And also make sure you don't go through the double crochet to the other side, otherwise it's going to be visible. Now go back into the single crochet, the inner loop of the single crochet that we just done our previous stitch in, and then come out of the inner loop of the new single crochet. So you continue doing this all the way around, and you come here, and in the last one just tie a knot and we'll weave in the ends. I'll see you guys when we're done. So you can see that the card slot is actually sewed on to the back part of the mobile pouch, and it's comfortable enough. I can put 4 fingers of mine in, but yeah, it sits on well and flat onto the base, so it doesn't hurt your mobile at all. I just have these knots that I had for the start and the end of the sewing. I have to weave them in. Make sure that you weave them in well. Don't weave them in through where you put your cards, because I've had an incident where my card actually pulled my yarn out. So just weave them in well and hide them, and I'll see you for the next part. Here I have the side parts of the mobile pouch and the base of the mobile pouch. We are going to join them now like so, and after which we'll join the front and the back of the mobile pouch. So first, grab one of your sides and the base and place them wrong sides together, facing, so this side is the right side and this is the right side up. Now you're facing 2 wrong sides together and pinch them together like so. Now we're going to grab one of the stitch markers and pick the chains in this corner. Let me just zoom in. Yeah. So remember, we made chains in the corners when we were making the borders. So we are going to grab those chains. So how do you identify that chain? The chain will not have anything in the bottom, so this V will not be visible in this chain, so it's easy to pick it out. So that's that stitch here in this corner, and the same way you go and pick out the chain in this corner over here and pin them together. You do the same in this corner. So we are going to be working into one of the loops of this V and one of the loops of this V and join it. We're going to make slip stitches. So now you turn and let your side face you. Grab your needle and thread and pull the stitch marker out. Okay, so we are going to work into this stitch first. So now you grab the inner loop of the side chain and you grab the loop closest to you on the other side. So you basically are grabbing the 2 loops that are closest to each other, and you're leaving out the outside loops of both sides. And now make a slip knot. Oops. Now go into both the same threads again and make a slip stitch. Now you go into the next stitch, grab the inner 2 loops, that is the loop furthest from you on the first panel and the closest to you on the second panel, and make a slip stitch. And you continue doing that till you reach the next stitch marker. So before you reach the last stitch, you should have made 8 slip stitches. That is excluding the slip knot that you had made initially. And now I just remove the stitch marker and we slip stitch into this last chain as well, exactly like we just did. Oops, I just grabbed 2 yarn, the last loop, 1 loop, and slip stitch. You fasten off, cut your yarn, and make the knot. So that's one side done. You can see that you have this neat slip stitches on the side of your bag and the base is sewed on well. So the same way, go to the other side, grab your other side of the bag. Now place the two wrong sides together. So this is the correct side. Like you can see, it's in one straight line. Now you place the wrong side of this side together. You pick the chains, the corner chains, pin them together. This side, and that's the one. Okay. Now you face the side strap again and grab your yarn, pull this marker out, grab these two loops, make your slip knot, and then make your slip stitch, and continue doing so exactly like the previous one and reach the end, and weave in all your ends, and we'll meet once we complete that. So you can see that we've joined them and I've woven my ends in so that you don't have to do that later, and it looks neat. Now grab the front panel of your mobile pouch. Keep this double stitch one down, and make sure that you're having the front side facing you. Now grab the chain stitch like we did in the other one, in this one. So that's my chain stitch right here. I'm grabbing that. So just grab the loop that is on the inner side, just one of the loops. So instead of grabbing both the loops, both these loops, I'm going to only grab this one loop that's towards me and put 2 stitch markers in that corner. Okay, I'll tell you why 2 stitch markers. Now grab this corner, any one corner, make sure the right side's facing out. Now when you grab this corner, you will find that you have this chain. This is the corner stitch, the one with the chain that we had made. So grab just one of the loop of that chain with one of this stitch marker and close it. And now with the other stitch marker, grab the chain from this base stitch right here and close it. So we are going to have two stitches in this one corner chain of the bag. And now go to the front part of the top part actually of your front mobile pouch. Grab the chain again, that's the chain stitch. Just grab the loop on the inside and grab the chain of the side part of your mobile pouch. Grab just the inside loop and put your marker in. Do the same for this corner and this tip as well. And then I'll start you off with the slip stitches and show you how to join the bag. As you can see, I've put pins on all four corners, 2 pins in the bottom of each corner and 1 pin on the top. Now flip your work over, make sure that the front part of your mobile pouch is facing you, and then put the side one right behind it. We're going to start working on this stitch right here. So now I have my yarn. I am going to make a slip knot in this stitch right here. I'm just going to grab these two loops, the loops that are facing each other, not the ones on the outside, just the inner two loops, and I'm going to make a slip knot. Now I'm going to go into the same stitch again, and I'm going to make a slip stitch. Like we did for the bottom of the bag, I'm going to continue grabbing the inner two loops, one loop from the front and one loop from the back, and make a slip stitch. And I'm going to continue doing that till I reach this corner here, and I'll show you what we'll do here. I'm almost reached the end of the corner, so I just had one stitch, I just made that, and now I've reached the corner. So what I'm going to do is I am going to grab these two loops that we've put the first pin in and make a slip knot, right? So that's, I'll take my marker out and I'll show you. That's this corner chain right here of the front part of your mobile pouch, and the chain from the side of your mobile pouch. Okay, so that's these two chains, the loops of the chains, and I'm going to make a slip stitch. And now I'm going to remove this marker again, and then I'll turn my work over. I'm going to go into the same stitch that we just made our slip stitch in the front of the mobile pouch, and I'm going to go into this chain of the base of the mobile pouch. And then we continue making the slip stitches like usual, one from the base, one from the front part of the mobile pouch, and one from the base. We just make a slip stitch like usual and reach the other corner, and we'll do the same thing. We'll make two slip stitches against each of the sides, exactly like we put the pins in, so that you have this neat corner. You can actually see that you have a neat corner. So let's just get done, reach the end, and we'll start joining the back part of the mobile pouch too. I'll see you once we get to the end. I've almost reached the end. That's my last stitch. I'm going to remove the marker. After I make my last slip stitch, I just fasten off and cut my yarn. Pull my yarn, make the knot, and we're done sewing the first front part. There you go. So that's how it looks. Since we've done these corners, we've made 2 stitches in the corners. They will have these sharp edges, and just weave in your yarn at the start and the finish, and I'll show you how we attach the back panel next. I now have the back part of the mobile pouch along with this. Remember, we had marked this stitch when we were making this back part, and I told you that this row of double crochets is actually part of the flap of the bag and not the base. So now what we are going to do is turn our work around, grab a stitch marker, skip the 2 single crochets of this double crochet. So you can see that this double crochet has this and this single crochet on the side of that, so we are going to skip these 2 single crochets and mark this one, this single crochet after this row. So now this stitch, it aligns with this second row of double crochets right here. As you can see, it's the second row of double crochets, so that's your first row of double crochets, and this is your second row of double crochets, and this is the first one. So if it's difficult for you to spot which single crochet you have to actually mark, I would suggest you start from this corner here. So first go into this chain space of your border and start counting down to this stitch. This stitch should actually be your 22nd stitch from here. So this is your chain, and you go 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21, and this is your 22nd stitch. So go into this 22nd stitch and mark it. Do the same on this side as well, and then we'll pin the front and the back parts together. I have marked both the corners. Now I'm also going to mark the chain on the tip, and I'm just going to grab one of the loops that is on the inner side, so that one, and I'm going to grab one stitch marker and place it on the chain on this side as well. That's the chain. Like we did for the front part, these corner bottom chains, I'm going to put 2 stitch markers down there. Okay, so now turn your work. I'm just turning my work so it's easier for you to see. Now I'm going to grab the front part of the mobile pouch. This is the correct side facing up. What I'm going to do is, this is the inner side of the mobile pouch, the wrong side. So this is the correct side. Now I'm keeping the wrong side facing me, and I'm placing this mobile pouch that we just sewed on the correct side facing up. So that is the side part, and it's just going to sit on this. If you see, it kind of forms a box already. So now I'm going to flatten the side, and I'm going to use this marker to actually pin. Let me just zoom in. I'm going to pin this corner chain with this single crochet stitch here, and I'm just going to take the 2 inner loops like we did for the front part of our mobile pouch. So that's the chain, and that's the stitch that we just marked. So I'm just going to pin that, and now going to the bottom corner of the mobile pouch, we already placed 2 pins on the base. So like before, this is the side of my mobile pouch and this is the base. I'm going to grab one of these pins and pin it to this corner chain of the side of the mobile pouch, just grabbing one of the loops of this corner chain and mark it, pin it, and I'm going to use the other pin to grab this corner chain right here and pin it. So now we'll have 2 stitches on that side. I'm going to do the same for this corner. And I'm going to mark. Now I reached the other corner. I'm just going to grab this inner loop, and I'm also going to grab the chain of this side and pin it. You can see that we've pinned all 4 corners of the mobile pouch, and we are going to start working from this corner and work all out all around and come back to this. So I'm going to flip my work over. I'm going to face the back. Now I'm going to pinch the side of the mobile pouch and the back together, and I'm going to start working on this stitch right here, and then I'm going to go anti-clockwise all the way to this stitch and end it here. And like we did in the front part of the bag, I'm going to make 2 slip stitches in this corner. That's why we've put 2 pins. So 1 slip stitch on the side of the mobile pouch and 1 slip stitch on the base or base piece of the mobile pouch. And we're going to do that on this corner as well. Let me just start you off. Grab your yarn. Your needle. We take this loop. Let me just zoom in. So we take the inner 2 loops and we make a slip knot. We go back into the same 2 loops and we make a slip stitch. Oops. And then grab the next 2 stitches, the inner loops of the next 2 stitches, and make a slip stitch. We continue doing that all around. I'll meet you guys once we've completed all this, complete sewing all 3 sides. I've just completed the last stitch to join this corner. I also sometimes like to put a row of single slip stitches all around the front, the flap and the front of the bag. So if you want to do that, you could do that now since your yarn is already here. Don't fasten off and cut it. Simply just go into the next stitch and make a slip stitch. Just pick the outer loop of the next stitch and yarn over and make a slip stitch. And you can make that all around. And once you reach the end, I just have 1 more stitch to go. Just go, this is your chain, just go into it and make 1 slip stitch. Turn your work over, turn your work, and continue making slip stitches all around. You can actually start seeing that this is much more stiffer than this side. That's why I like to do this slip stitch. I'll meet you guys when I reach the end over here, and then I'll show you how we go around next. So I've just made a slip stitch into the last stitch of the flap. Now this is the first stitch that we just started joining this. So now I'm going to go into this stitch again and make our slip stitch, after which I will go into this first stitch of the side and make a slip stitch, and then I continue making it on this whole side. Like before, once I come to the corner, I make a slip stitch on this corner stitch of the bag, and then I turn my work and I make a slip stitch on this corner, and then I continue making, and I continue doing that till I reach this end where we just started the slip stitches. I'll see you guys once I reach the end. Now I've reached this end where we just started. You can just find the first slip stitch that we did, or actually this part, the first stitch of the flap. So just go into that stitch from behind and make a slip stitch and fasten off, and you can cut your yarn now. And your mobile pouch is almost complete. I am going to sew in my magnetic button right here on this edge, and that falls in this part over here. So just sew your magnet button on. As per, we start with a slip knot and make 2 working chains. Now we make 1 additional chain that doesn't count as a stitch, it's just your turning chain. Now into the second chain from the hook, this one right here, we make a single crochet. And into the following chain, we make another single crochet. So that's 2 single crochets in row 1. Now row 2 is also 2 single crochets, so we chain once, turn our work over, and into each of these single crochets we make 1 single crochet each. So into this stitch right here we make 1 single crochet and another one into the next stitch. We continue making this till we reach the desired height of, the length of the strap that you want. So I'm going to make around 63 inches of that strap, but to show you how the strap is supposed to look, I'm just going to make around 20 rows of it, and I'll meet you guys back to complete the rest of the strap. So I've completed 20 rows. Now I'm just going to flip my work 90 degrees, make a chain. Now I'm going to grab one loop from the single crochet that we just made of the previous row. So I like to grab this diagonal line over there, so I'm just going to grab that and I'm going to make a single crochet on the side of this row. Now I'm going to make 1 more single crochet. I'm going to make another single crochet into the next row. So I like to pick this loop right here with a bump, and I'm going to make 1 single crochet there. I'm going to continue picking 1 loop and make a single crochet in each row until I reach the end. So I'll meet you guys back when you reach the end. Now for the last single crochet of this side, instead of going into this bump, I actually go into this V of the first stitch. This is actually your foundation chain, so I go into this V and make a single crochet. So when you turn it around, it is actually in line with this thing, with the other stitches. Now we make a chain, and into the single crochet that we just made, I'm going to grab one of this loop and I'm going to make a single crochet. Now into this V that we made the single crochet before this one, that's the first chain, the foundation chain, I'm going to make 1 single crochet, and into the next chain of the foundation chain of your belt, I'm going to make 2 single crochets. So that's 1, and I'm going to go into the same stitch and make another single crochet in the same space. Now I'm going to flip my work around. I'm just going to hide this yarn when I'm weaving, when I'm making my stitches. So I'm going to make 1 chain again, and into the single crochet that we just created, I'm just going to pull this loop and I'm going to make a single crochet there. Now into this loop, this stitch right here, that's the first row after our foundation chain, that's the first row of single crochets. So I'm going to make 1 single crochet there, and I'm going to continue picking out 1 loop of the single crochets in each row, and I'm going to make a single crochet till I reach the end. So on this side, like before, I like to pick the loop of this bump over here, and then for the next stitch I'll just pick this diagonal loop, not the back one but the front one, and I'll meet you guys when you reach this end here. So I've reached the end of this row, making the single crochets, and you can see that it is completely textured and it has its own kind of ripple effect. It doesn't really give you that basic simple strap vibe. It looks different, but it is just a series of single crochets in horizontal and vertical format put together. Once you're done making your whole strap, I'll meet you at this corner, and also grab your bag, and I'll show you how you're going to use your adjustable strap and fix it onto your bag. As you can see, I've made my strap and it's actually 63 inches long. I haven't completed these single crochets on this corner as yet. I have just I've just completed 3 sides of the single crochets, and I've stopped right here. Now I'm going to grab my bag and I'm going to tell you how we're going to sew this on. So before we sew this on to our bag, I've cut this yarn off, and I haven't fastened it off yet. I'm just leaving this loop as is. I'm going to put my stitch marker there and leave it for now. We'll get back to this part later. Now you grab the tail where you've finished sewing the corners, and then you grab the adjustable strap. We'll sew this on to the strap first, and then we'll sew the strap onto the bag. I have a tapestry needle that I've threaded with the yarn that we've just used to make our strap. Now I'm going to grab this adjustable belt. Let me just zoom in. Can you see the smooth side? This is actually the front part of the metal strap, adjustable belt metal strap, and this is the back side. So grab the back side and keep this is the front side of my back strap, so I'm just going to keep both of them on top of each other, the back side of the metal piece and the front side of our strap. I'm going to keep them together, grab my needle and put it into this chain space that we had made. This is a corner chain space of our belt. I just put the thread there into that side, and I'm going to make a knot to secure our yarn. I will weave in this tail later. So like I said, grab the front part of your belt and the back side of this thing and place it on the center loop. Now we will put our needle from above this strap but below this space through the metal piece. We'll go around this middle part and come out from the chain space of our belt. So we are essentially just taking our yarn around this loop, around that metal piece that's moving, so that we can secure this belt to that part. Oops, that's tight. Okay. So that's one. Now, oops, that's one. Now we go into the following stitch, this one. We put our needle through this stitch and go above the metal loop like before, through it. Now from the back we put it under this metal and we get it out of the same stitch that we just put our needle into. So that forms these loops at the back and it secures the belt with that piece. Now we go into the next following stitch again and go above that metal piece, go under the metal piece and come out of the same stitch. Oops. We do that 2 more times in the following 2 stitches. Now we do that once more in this chain space of our belt. So we go into that chain space, go above this metal loop, and come back into that chain space. As you can see, you've actually secured this piece and there's no way this piece is going to come out. Now you can just make a knot at this end and weave in your thread, and you can cut off the excess thread as well. Make a knot and I'll weave in my thread, and I'll see you in a bit. As you can see, I've woven my ends in and it looks neat and it's sewed in perfectly. It's not going to come out no matter how hard you pull. So now turn your work over. This is the front side, and also grab the other side of your strap. Keep it face down, so make sure that it's not twisted anywhere in between. Also grab your pouch. I'm going to sew this belt on directly onto this pouch D-ring over here. If you are going to sew it on your snap ring, do the same process. Just instead of putting your belt through the D-rings, put it through your snap loops. Okay, so I'm going to grab this side, the incomplete side where we don't have this thing on, and facing the right side towards me, I'm flipping it around so my thumb is on the right side of the strap. I'm going to insert it from the top of the bag out this D-ring, and now I'm going to grab this thing, this adjustable loop. I'm going to go, now you can see that this side has the strap on and this side there is nothing on this side. So the side which has nothing, I'm going to insert the strap from behind and bring it forward, and I'm going to take the strap again, the bottom side, and push it down this ring. So now your adjustable strap has come in between, and just move it up the belt so that it's there. Just make sure that your belt is not twisted anywhere, it's straight. Now grab the other end, which is incomplete, remove the stitch marker, grab your needle, put it in this hook, and now face the bag down and the right side of your strap up. Grab this yarn and put this D behind your strap. Now we'll make a single crochet, we'll make a chain, and like before, we'll grab just, instead of grabbing one loop, we will grab both the loops of the single crochet and we'll go under the D-ring, grab our yarn and pull up a loop. Now we have two loops and we make a single crochet with both the loops. Let me zoom in and show you that again. So on the side of the bag, we go in to both the loops of the strap, we go under the D-ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and make a single crochet with both the loops. And we do that again into the following stitch. Go under this V, under the D-ring, yarn over, pull up a loop and make a single crochet. We do that one more time into the 4th stitch. That's the one. Oops, another one. So now you have 4 stitches. If your side looks a little lopsided like this, what you do is go into this chain space, grab a loop and make a slip stitch here and pull your thread out. So that secures your work. Now all you have to do is weave in this end and that side is complete. I'll just weave in this end and I'll show you the look. Just a tip, when you weave your ends in, make sure that you weave it in on the wrong side of the belt and you go in a zigzag form. So I went into these stitches and these ones in a Z form, in a zigzag format, so it doesn't really come out very easily. So your stitch, after you've made the knot, it won't really unravel. You can see the strap is sewed on to your bag and it's adjustable, so no matter how long you make the handle, you can adjust it as per your need. This is the complete look of the bag with the buttons sewed on and a key ring added to the back. I really hope you enjoy making this. If you did like the video, please leave us a thumbs up. Also subscribe to our channel. It means the world to us and it motivates us to make more videos like these. If you do have any comments, please leave them in the comments box below. See you in our next video. Until then, happy crocheting!